2 lanes to keep right.
Hey friends, it's Tuesday, July 27, 2021, and it's a great time to prepare to go there. Welcome to the most overlooked and underrated coaching conversation on the internet. And that's my opinion, but it's because I'm convinced our future deserves our focus today. My name is Peter, and I have enjoyed going on this extended coaching journey with you. We are now on episode 27. Can you believe it? We've been going over a month and a half now, and we are just getting started, helping you to practically stay focused on the future and then tactically lead yourself there day by day by day. And that's why I'm so appreciative of so many of you that have been tuning into this conversation, learning along, leading ahead, because you know what it takes to prepare to go there. You understand that this is a long game and that you have to keep showing up day after day, and you're not going to make excuses. You're going to find results. And so thank you and welcome to the future frontier. Here's my why, my big idea, if you want to call it that. I'm convinced that we have to help leaders deal with the fault line in their thinking. And this is it. Most people don't know how to lead others into a better future because they don't know how to lead themselves there first. Self-leadership is essential. Self-leadership is mission critical to any leader's life and impact. And so I want to just encourage and force multiply the many, many good efforts that have been going on. And there's a lot of great stuff already in the leadership community, but I feel like this is something that needs to be shouted from the mountain, and we've got to help leaders, particularly emerging leaders, those that are looking into the horizon and wondering what leadership is going to look like and what's going to be required of these emerging leaders and teams and networks and movements. How are we going to navigate the unknown? And I don't think we're just going to show up and rise to the occasion because we had a badge, a title, or even some affirmation in our past. I think we're going to have to fall back on our preparation, and you don't get to fake that, and you can't go back and, backfill all that time of preparation. You have to be putting in that preparation now. It is quite a paradox, but it is so important that these are the years, the overlooked and seemingly unimportant years, where emerging leaders will be qualified or disqualified for the next level of leadership and of legacy in general. And so many emerging leaders do not understand how the preparation process works. And so they feel like nobody's paying attention to them, nobody's recognizing them, no one's respecting them. And so they basically blow off discipline. They don't put in the work. They don't stay focused in any intentional direction. And what they don't realize is that they have been on the audition for decades, and they didn't even realize it, that the audition process was happening without the leaders themselves knowing that their character was being formed, their narrative was being developed, and their vision, their discipline was being solidified for the future. And so this is my invitation. This is my call to action. Come be a part of this coaching journey. Just continue in this conversation. Whether you can make it to every single coaching conversation or not, that's fine. But I really want to invite you into the email community called Future Friends, because you need to get your future some more friends. You need to be around like-minded leaders that are going to value both the preparation that's going on right now, but also the promotions and the opportunities that are coming. And we don't want to just show up. We want to show up ready, and we need each other to do that. The Future Friends get weekly emails in the form of content bundles, all of the coaching conversations and the blogs that are going out. The Future Friends will also get the info and incentives to the soon coming coaching courses, which I am so looking forward to. I actually went through the most recent round of this coaching course with a friend today, and I think they really appreciated it. It was loaded. Let me say it that way. It was loaded, and I was super grateful to see it changing someone else's life the way this content and this coaching journey had changed my life as well. So it's coming soon. Keep showing up. And finally, the Future Friends have access to an amazing community of people who are influencers, they're leaders, they're team builders, they're dreamers, artists, creatives, inventors, they're advocates. They are just amazing. You all, the Future Friends, are my inspiration. You motivate me to keep showing up now 27 times consecutively, and hopefully we can keep showing up for many, many dozens, if not hundreds of more times. So thank you so much. Join the Future Friends. In fact, let me give a shout out to Future Friends right now. I see a few are watching live. Go ahead and say hi in the chat. Please let me know where you're watching from. It just makes it funner to go through this coaching conversation that way. And let me know, what are you focused on this week? Because that's what we're going to be talking about. If you can and will sign up for the Future Friends email community, I want to give you a free gift. It's called a fail-proof planning guide. It is absolutely free. It is my way of saying thank you for being on this coaching journey. And it's also a primer to help you stay focused on the future and lead yourself there day by day. So it's going to give you really a guided, step-by-step, proven process to help you stay agile, not fragile, and to help you make decisions and discoveries as you go through the day-to-day. It's going to help you to make decisions that are going to be transferred into action steps. My wife, Sarah Joy, and I put this project together, and I'm so grateful for the way it turned out. And I want you to experience it. You can download it instantly, get to work on it. It'll be great homework, and you will feel the rocket fuel sending you off into your future for sure. So let's dive in. I want to introduce the concept of a focused lifestyle. Not just a Pomodoro technique, although that's important, but I don't want to reduce the value of focus to a work session. We need a focused lifestyle if we're going to go the long haul. And so this is a beginner's guide to focus. And I'm just going to be sharing not a exhaustive presentation by any means, and not even a perfectly packaged overview. I'm not even going to scratch the surface in this topic. I mean, there is so much research, so many discoveries and innovations that are going on in psychology and in science about focus, about the power of focus. I won't even begin to act like I understand all of that, but I have experienced the power of focus in my own life. And if I were just to have a conversation with someone, this is where I would begin. I would want to encourage you to develop a focused lifestyle. And hopefully we can get some action steps so you can feel what that is like. But I love this quote, and I think it really sums it all up. I mean, I'm talking years and years of being on this journey, learning how to lead myself, lead others, and lead through others. How do you actually focus? And I think this acronym sums it up well. Sean Cannell says, follow one course until successful. Come on now. Follow one course until successful. That's focus. Follow only one course all the way through until you reach success. So there's no margin for quitting. There's no room for excuses. You have to stay focused on the course until successful. In my mind, the opposite of focus is dangerous. If we're not focused, we're drifting. Have you ever been on a boat and you didn't put down the anchor and the current kind of takes you somewhere you didn't expect? And you can even think that you're fine, that you're good, that you're in the relative same place as you started, but you realize that the current under you is undetected and it is taking you somewhere whether you realize it or not. And that is why we need a focused lifestyle, because without the strength and the anchor of a focused lifestyle, we will drift in life, period. There are so many influences in our life, in culture, that will carry us to places we did not intend to go. Nobody asks for failure. Nobody's planning on a breakdown. Nobody's, hoping that all their hard work is just going to get shredded by some sort of compromise or some sort of moral collateral damage. But instead, a focused lifestyle becomes the anchor that holds you steady while you get ready. A focused lifestyle is mission critical for anyone who is pioneering an unpredictable landscape into an unforgettable future. So I really want to put passion in you right now, not just more info, not just more good to knows. I want you to get passionate about what's possible, and then I want you to just run and tackle this important strategy for a well-lived life and a well-led life, which is focus. So here's the benefit of focus. Without focus, you will procrastinate, you will be distracted, you will drift, you will really just break down before you break through. But with a focused lifestyle, you can actually keep the future on the front burner where it belongs. And so many times we start well, but we don't know how to finish well. And focus gets us to the finish line. So we've got to have more than just a moment of inspiration. We have to have a dedicated lifestyle of motivation that's going to keep us going in the same direction until we hit that destination. I heard this quote I read about it in a book called The One Thing. But it says, he who chases two rabbits catches none. I think that's hilarious, kind of comical, but it has a point. Any person who's trying to chase two rabbits is going to catch no rabbits. Why? Because your focus is broken. You're thinking, oh, the one on the right, no, the one on the left, no, the one on the right, no, the one on the left. And if you decide on the rabbit on the right, and then you kind of change your mind, and then you start running after one on the left, or if you think, oh, I'll get both somehow, that's not how it works. You have to follow one course until successful. And for leaders, we have a lot of vision, right? We have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of passion. We see the world through a different lens. And we want to go after it. We want to be a part of change on multiple fronts. How do you affect so much? It's by staying focused on one course until it's successful. And then you can pick another landmark in the horizon. You say, okay, I'm going to keep going in this direction. And then you arrive there and you achieve it and you accomplish it. And then you continue on from there. So it's not that we're just, stuck in our ways. We are moving forward. We are accomplishing more and more, but we've learned the value of how to leverage our time, how to leverage our lifestyle and our leadership by focusing on what's important again and again. So whenever you get into this lifestyle of focus, you have to realize it's not just about sitting down for 30 minutes and accomplishing a task. That's good. That's important, but that's only one part of the equation. What's possible is in a focused lifestyle, you can learn exponentially more. You can experiment and try and achieve exponentially more. I'm not just talking about one day or 1 week or month. I'm talking about the compound interest on decades of going in the same direction, pursuing the same values, developing the same goals and projects, nurturing relationships over decades and decades that begin to have a generational ripple effect that goes far and wide. I mean, the impact of staying focused, staying steady, having stamina, endurance, is without question irreplaceable. And what happens from time to time, in fact, very often, is you'll find yourself in your journey kind of stuck and you don't know where to go next. You don't know how to position yourself or move forward. And decision-making can break down in these two scenarios. Either you will get stuck in the fog or you will get caught in the forest. Now, let me describe what I mean, because these are two different yet very specific scenarios. And if you do not know how to recognize what kind of roadblock you're facing, you will apply the wrong strategy and it will be counterproductive, and then it'll tank your morale. And then you'll think the only option left is to quit, when the truth is focus was the answer, like it was the last 1,000 times. So whenever we describe being stuck in the fog, what do we mean? It means that we have lost our courage, we've lost our confidence to make a strategic decision. There's a phrase, it's the fog of war. It's basically when everything is going crazy all around you and you've lost your visibility, you've lost your vision, and you don't want to take a step forward. You're literally paralyzed. You are paralyzed with fear, with overwhelm, with stress. You're blanking. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. You're at a miss. Like you could be, charging headlong and strong, and and then you get in the fog and you lose all of your bearings of up and down and right and left. And it can be a very challenging situation. This could happen in a work day when you're trying to be productive, and then you just kind of hit this funk, this fog. Or it could even be a season in your life where you're just kind of wondering, what's the point? And I really want to encourage you on the outset that when you're in the fog, it's not just a practical issue anymore. When you're in the fog, it's not just a strategic thing to deal with. There might be some emotional, some relational, some health related, or some spiritual things that you're feeling. And I want you to realize what you feel may be real, but it doesn't have to be final. You don't have to stay in the fog. You can continue. You can keep making moves forward. And I want to encourage you to hold your courage, hold your ground. Don't let go of the progress you've already made. I mean, you have accomplished so much. Look at the life you have already experienced. Look at the blessings you've been given. Look at the opportunities that were afforded to you. Don't forfeit a lifetime of focus for temporary fog. And tell yourself, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. This fog will lift. This feeling, this overwhelm, this sense of fear cannot stay. I'm going to outlast, outgrow, outpace whatever situation I'm in. I know that I am stuck right now. I feel stuck right now. I don't know how to move forward with my life. I don't know how to lead others forward through this season, but I'm not going to lose my courage. I'm going to focus on the next step. And that's the key. Practice focusing the next step. The next step. It is so important when you don't know what to do that you hold your courage, you hold your ground, and you simply look for the next step and you take it. And you may say, well, that's blind faith and you don't know what's going to happen in the future. But the truth is, you don't need to know everything that's going to happen in the future to take the next step. And what's so amazing is when you take the next step with confidence and a sense of resolve, you will ultimately see the next step and the next step and the next step. And before you know it, you're more focused on taking the next step than the fog around you. And you'll look up and see that the fog has lifted. So friends, have courage right now. I know that things can feel overwhelming and you're wondering how you're going to make sense of all of the challenges and the changes that are going on. But practice a focused lifestyle and recognize what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like when you're in the fog. So that way, the next time the fog tries to roll in, you will know how to navigate through it. You will know how to press on. Look for the next action step. And one of the things that I would encourage you to do is to structure your day in intentional segments, time blocks, checklists. This is really where habits shine. When you create habits, you don't have to know your 10-year plan. You know your habits. You know what's important today. You know what you got to get done today. And what's amazing is if you just keep doing what you know to do today, it is going to snowball for the better in your favor. So you need to be focused on your daily routines, your daily rhythms. You need to be focused on the time blocks that you're building into your day and week, and ask yourself, do I have a really intentional plan to get up in the morning, to get going, to be, productive, to bring the best of me? And just by giving yourself and giving your attention to that kind of work is worthy work to begin with. You may be a first-time parent, and your whole lifestyle has been disrupted, and you're dealing with things that you feel no one else can relate to. And I want to let you know that the fog will lift. You will not just go through this fog, you will grow through this fog, but you have to stay focused on where you are today. You have to focus on keeping your courage, keeping your ground, and looking for that next practical action step. And whenever you're in the fog, you're not going to see the whole picture. You're not going to see the destination. And so you just have to say, what's the next thing we've got to look for? Maybe you're feeling physical fatigue. Maybe you're stressed out. Maybe there's something, just out of order physically in your biosystem, and you don't understand the symptoms that you're feeling. You don't understand why you feel the way you do, or when it comes, or how it goes, or what you're going to do to resolve it again. And you don't have to have the whole thing figured out to take the next step. So it literally might be opening up and just confiding in someone else about what's going on. Like, that literally could be the next step. It may be, shooting up that prayer to the Lord and crying out and saying, be the light for my step, be the light for my path, help. That's a step. But eventually you're going to get this snowball effect for the better, and knowledge is going to compound, and you're going to begin to kind of create a better picture of the landscape in front of you, and then you'll be able to navigate it more strategically. I don't want to beat around the bush. I literally experienced this scenario, I would say about maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago. I had just gotten married. I was literally living my best life. I was so grateful. Everything was rocking. And then I started experiencing some very unwanted health symptoms, primarily in the stress department. It was physical, but it also had some anxiety attached with it. And I didn't understand even what was going on, let alone how to resolve it. But I'm so grateful for my wife. I'm so grateful to Jesus. We had a crossroads moment right there. And instead of, caving in, we just retreated to the Lord. I think in that moment we took communion, we prayed, and the Lord gave us a wisdom path forward. He gave us a path called wisdom to move forward past that fog. And there was just so much uncertainty and so much to deal with. And it was literally step by step, day by day. And the way I could chart the journey through the fog and out of the fog was there was like a series of checkpoint conversations. Like, I'm going to date myself here, but the old cartoon Balto, when the wolf is like scratching on the bark and all that, and he's like marking the progress. It was like every checkpoint was a different conversation. And so I can remember literally leaning in, looking forward to just the next interaction with a close friend, with a mentor, with some sort of healthcare expert, and just knowing that we were going to get some more answers. We were going to get a little more context. We were going to get some more options to try something, to do something, to apply something. And then what inevitably happens is they give you, they ask you questions because they don't really know what's going on either. They give you some empathy. Maybe they give you some information. They give you some strategies, and then they say, okay, now give it some time. And so you're like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me, more time. But it was enough to get going, to keep going. And so that's what we would do. And ultimately, time became a redemptive force. Time became a healing agent. Time became an ally in that journey. And, you look back and you say, wow, I'm so grateful that we stayed focused. We stayed focused on the future. We didn't let our hope be deferred. We didn't lose hope. We continued to believe the best, to believe that the best was possible, and that things were getting better, even if it was microscopic or incremental. Like, keep going, stay focused, keep pioneering, keep trusting. It's not like you're trying to get weary, and just keep going. You're just kind of like burning out. But it's this internal drive to stay focused. So that's the fog. And I would encourage you've got to regain your confidence. Don't get paralyzed. Don't stop in fear. You have to look for the next action step. And building an appetite for action is so massive, so mission critical. Do you have an appetite to take action? Or are you just going to talk about stuff? Are you just going to vent about stuff? Are you just going to go on and on? Or are you really going to see change? Are you really willing to be a part of a change process? And it's when you're in the fog, that's what you want. That's what you need. So take action steps little by little, even if it's day by day, even if you're just, fine-tuning your routine. That's enough to keep going. The other scenario I want you to practice focus in is when you find yourself caught up in the forest. Now, this is totally different than being in the fog, because when you are in the fog, you have no visibility. When you're in the forest, you're seeing a lot. You're moving a lot. It's not slow, it's fast. And you're driving yourself, you're pushing yourself, you are seeing a measure of momentum. But what happens when you see yourself like getting kind of in the same scenery again and again, and you are feeling like you're going in circles? You're feeling like, I'm doing a lot, but I'm not seeing the results. I'm doing a lot, but I don't know if it's effective, efficient. I'm doing a lot, but I don't know if I'm really making progress on those higher level values, those higher level goals. And when you are caught up in the forest, there's this phrase, you lose sight of the forest for the trees. And you're missing the big picture. You're missing the beauty of where you are. You're not taking in the view anymore. It's all kind of blurring in. It's all just kind of droning on. And you're kind of in this weird Groundhog Day lifestyle where everything is just happening again and again and again. And you're losing that purpose, that passion, that fire. And you're going to inevitably, you're going to start just going down, down, down. And I don't want you to. I want you to have purpose, have intentionality. I want you to stay on mission. I don't want you to wander away. I don't want you to get discouraged. I don't want you to get distracted. I don't want you to get disqualified. I want you to focus. I want you to be a finisher. So when you're in the forest, you need a completely different strategy than when you're in the fog. Now, focus is the answer. It's just you have to focus on something different. And so whenever you're in the forest, you're basically doing that tactic. You're looking for the next action step. Oh, I'm going to that place. Okay, we're going to here. Now we're doing that. Now we're doing this. Now we're doing that. And unintentionally, you are piling on more and more commitments. You're taking on more and more obligations. You are losing your sense of control, losing your sense of boundaries, losing your sense of agency, losing your sense of responsibility. And maybe you're taking on the cares of the world. Maybe you are kind of overreaching, to be honest. Maybe you're accepting other people's work, other people's responsibilities. Maybe you're just trying to be that superhero persona, and you can only keep that up so long. So don't wander so far, so long, like you're just so active. You're just doing all this stuff that you're not learning how to rest, recover, review. You're not learning how to take in the big picture. And that's what you need to focus on. It's a totally different focus. Like when you're in the fog, having a big picture really isn't that relevant for that moment. But when you're in the forest, it's the difference between arriving at your destination or getting getting picked up by a rescue helicopter. You've got to learn how to focus differently, how to use a different strategy. And so that the difference is, am I zooming in or am I zooming out? And when you're caught up in the forest and everything is overwhelming you because of all of the tasks that you have to do, or even the things you like to do, you have to ask a more strategic question. When you're in the fog, you really can't be too strategic yet. You just have to hold your courage, hold your ground, look for that next action step, build back your confidence, get some more context, get some knowledge, build a strategy from there. Now you're out of the fog and you're going. So now you're so excited, you're not going to stop ever because you don't want to go back to that season again, that scenario again. So what do? Now you're in the forest. Life is good until you lose your way. You forgot your why. You don't know your purpose anymore. You're just kind of pulled into the day-to-day, and you're not thinking strategically about the implications, the applications of how you're living a year from now, 5 years from now, 50 years from now. Do you know where you're going? Do you know how things are really going? And you don't get that unless and until you zoom out. So my encouragement here is you've got to get above the tree line. You got to really not just focus on the day-to-day. You got to figure out, how do I park the day-to-day, the routines, the habits, the disciplines just enough so that way I can get some perspective here. So I can, come back and see that higher view, who I am, where I'm going, what's at stake, who's on that journey with me. Coming back to that big picture is going to be life-changing for you. So use both of these strategies. Zoom in when you're in the fog. Zoom out when you're in the forest. Focus on that next step when you're in the fog. Focus on the next stage when you're in the forest. Focus will get you there. Now, what do you do when it is time to work? What do you do when you do need your attention? I mean, the irony of today is that I'm doing a coaching conversation on focus, and this has probably been the most distracting scenario that I have found. My computer has had some issues I've been working through today, and as I'm speaking, my phone has been going off. I don't know if you've been noticing my eyes come back and forth. I've been hearing, I guess, someone working on a house project. It's probably my amazing wife, Sarah Joy, crushing it. She's probably making content for her blog, honestly. And it's just fun. This is a fun Wild West way to live. But I'm telling myself, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. So this is not like you have some perfect Olympic routine that you just nail one time and then you get the gold and the status and it stays that way. That's why what I'm talking about has to become a lifestyle. So that way you can have the mindset and the skill sets to just reload, re-engage without, getting all flustered. Like, you don't have to be more concerned about what's going on out there because you've already been working on things in here. You are good, and you can count it all joy, and you're going to keep crushing it with the right attitude. So when you're in the day-to-day, I want you to stay flexible. I don't want you to get so rigid that you can beat yourself up, but you've got to be intentional. You have to get proactive, not reactive, and focus helps us do that. So I want to ask you a question, and maybe this can spark some, just some work on your part, some progress. But do you have a plan to start your focus, to steer your focus, and to stop your focus? Do you have a plan to start your focus, steer your focus, and stop your focus? What do I mean? I'm talking about your work day. I'm talking about when it's time to show up and be productive. People are counting on you to be present, to be prepared, so that way the team moves forward together. We're trying to put points on the board. We're trying to move the needle forward, right? We're trying to level up. We're trying to win our game. There's a lot of metaphors, but the question is, do you have the focus to help that team win, to help your team or your family, your business, ministry move forward? And you've got to make every day count, and staying focused day to day is going to make a difference. So the first part of this is, how do you start your focus? I would encourage you to really think about it. And then when you have this, plan, to write it down, like to really write down how you want to start the day and find your focus. Like, do you need music? Do you need coffee? Do you need a checklist? Do you need a to-do list? Do you need a lot of space? Do you need social interaction? Like, what do you need? And that's where you can go into the homework, and watch these other YouTube videos or whatnot. But you need an intentional plan to start your day in a focused way. You don't want to start scatterbrained. You don't want to start behind. You want to start way ahead, and you want to keep that lead with a focused approach to your work and productivity. The other question is, your day is going to be made up of many conversations, many tasks, many activities, many objectives and due dates. So how do you actually steer your focus? How do you know what to prioritize? How do you know when to pivot? How do you know when to transition? And maybe you just need to be thinking about this stuff. Like, I'm not trying to be a guru. I just want to be a guide to say, hey, like, from experience, figure this stuff out now, because it is going to come up. And we need to develop a lifestyle that can leverage a multifaceted focus, not just multitasking, but how do we stay focused on big picture plans while we are making progress in clear, actionable steps. So steering your focus is a big part of your day. I think having a schedule for your day will help you steer your focus. So let's review for a second. To start the day, we need some sort of routine, some sort of checklist that will help us start with the best of us, not the rest of us from yesterday or the last week or the last month. And then to steer our focus, we've got to have a schedule that's going to help us to make the right transitions at the right time, so we're not losing our lead in our workday. And then the last one is, how do you actually stop your focus? Because your focus can be powerful but it can also overpower you if you're not careful. You'll kind of get, I don't know how else to explain it, but it's almost like you just kind of get, and you just start going and going and going, and you can't stop yourself. And I got great advice one time, many, many years ago, from my mom. And she said, Peter, if you can't stop yourself when things are going good, then you won't be able to stop yourself when things aren't going good. Man, that really made an impact on me. And so that's why it's important. Even though I love a project, man, I can be heart and soul into a certain project and it's quitting time and I don't feel good about where I am, or I'm having so much fun, I don't want to stop. But you're going to have to learn how to actually stop your focus and to do whatever it takes to land the plane safely, because you don't want to run out of fuel, not have a landing pad, and then you have to crash the plane. And that's all metaphorical, but it's serious. Like, you are leading other people. And so you can't just say like, oh, I'm having so much fun and I'm a leader and I have a team, and, or, I'm working on this big project and I can go, go, go. Like, it's not just about you. It's about who is going with you. And so it really shows up in the day-to-day. Can you use discipline? Can you actually steer your focus? And can you actually stop it at the right times, so that way everybody gets a smooth ride? So stopping your focus requires an intentional plan as well. It needs some sort of checklist. It needs some sort of routine. It needs some sort of trigger that lets you know, I can confidently let go now. I've covered my bases. I've communicated to all the people that need to hear from me, and I can confidently turn off the lights, shut down the laptop or the phone or whatever, and I can go unplug. And being able to do that will be a game changer, because you're going to come back rested, recharged, refocused, and you're going to hit the ground running again. So what I just shared with you alone, just these two different, pieces, checkpoints in our coaching journey right now, the idea of identifying the source of a stress and a struggle, and then using the right strategy to navigate it well, knowing what to focus on, how to apply your focus, that could really save you years. Because otherwise, you're going to be treating the fog like it's the forest and the forest like it's the fog, and you're not going to know how to move forward. And then on a daily rhythm, here you go. If you can identify these three tactics, what is my tactical approach to start the day focused? What is going to be my tactical approach to steer where I am and what I'm doing morning, noon, evening? If you can come up with a tactical approach to confidently shut down and stop working, knowing that it's going to be ready to pick back up next time, and that would be amazing. So this really gets me thinking. I could geek out on this a lot longer. I think many of you could too. But I just encourage you, just learn along, lead ahead. Like, now kind of move out in that territory, in that space. Come back, man. Tell the future friends how you are doing with your focus. Last thing I'll share is I want to encourage you to find the right kind of fuel for your focus. There are some things that will motivate you. Fear can be a really good motivator. There's a healthy fear. It's called the fear of the Lord. There's very unhealthy fear. It's called the fear of man. Fearing other people, other people's opinion, or even what kind of pain or punishment they can put on you. That shouldn't be stopping you from doing the right thing. That shouldn't stop you from going down the course of intentionality and integrity. So just because it's helping you feel inspired and motivated doesn't mean that it is sustainable. You've got to find the right kinds of fuel for your focus. And there are different places you can go to. Obviously, as a Christian, I go to my relationship with the Lord. Man, spending time with the Lord fuels me up, reminds me of who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I just keep crushing it. But there are many other ways you can, find fuel in a practical sense. What you're reading will fuel you. What you're listening to will fuel you. The friends you have absolutely will fuel you. The mentors you can connect with will fuel you. So you've got to be intentional. I'm not just trying to stay focused for a month, a year. How do I lead myself well in a way that others want to follow for hopefully decades to come? And that's a different mindset. It's a different question. So it means it's a different starting point, which will get you to a different destination. So all in all, I really appreciate your time going on this coaching journey. I would love to get some feedback. I'll ask this on Instagram as well, maybe in a few other places, but let me know how the coaching journey is going for you. And let me know just what would be helpful, other things to talk about or different ways to engage with this content. I want to challenge you now to embrace a focused lifestyle so you can go the distance and make a difference. It will really pay off in the end. Looking ahead, we're going to be back tomorrow with another coaching conversation. Looking forward to just helping people get started, because if you had some sort of beginner's guide, then you really could just figure it out. And I think that barrier to entry is so big and it's so intimidating, and you're thinking about this and you're like, I don't even know where to begin, and you start feeling that overwhelm pile up, and you just need to listen to someone who's kind of been on that path for a while, and just let them reassure you, or let them encourage you, let them give you some tips, maybe warn you about things to look out for. But you shouldn't let anything keep you from getting started. You got to get going. And that's what preparation is all about. It's preparing you to go, like actually go, not just hypothetically simulated something. Like, we're going, we're actually taking this step. Ready or not, we are going. So we better get ready. This has been an awesome run today. I've really enjoyed it. I've appreciated it. And, I'm so thankful, honestly thankful, that I put in the effort, even though there were quite a few hiccups and hurdles along the way. We showed up and we had a great round. So I'm going to keep showing up for you. I hope you keep showing up for you too. Remember, I'm convinced you're going places, so prepare to go there.